get a short intro and then we'll be back with the reports of the day.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
On the sign language interpretation, I'm accompanied by Naomi Omboidu. Engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya and at Kemuma_Monari. We are streaming live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya. Will begin now. Former Lugari Member of Parliament Cyrus Jirongo has been laid to rest today at his Lumakanda home in Kakamega County following an emotional burial ceremony attended by family members, friends, and leaders from across the country. Speakers at the ceremony described Jirongo as a charismatic and outspoken politician whose influence cut across party lines and whose role in Kenya's multi-party politics left a lasting mark. The burial brought together current and former political leaders, clergy, and members of the public, many of whom paid tribute to his bold leadership style and ability to mobilize grassroots support. Cyrus Jirongo died earlier this month after being involved in a road accident along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. Moving on, former Shinyalu Member of Parliament Daniel Kamasi has passed away today. Kamasi passed away on Tuesday morning while receiving treatment at a hospital in Nairobi following a prolonged illness. The 79-year-old served as the Member of Parliament for 2 terms from 1997 to 2007. Was elected first on a Ford Kenya ticket and re-elected in 2002 under NAC's reform wave. Kakamega Governor Ferdinand Barasa and Kakamega Senator Boni Halwale have eulogized the late Member of Parliament in a condolence message released today. Kakamega Governor Barasa described the late Kamasi as a dedicated public servant whose contribution to the development of Shinyalu will be remembered by generations. Now, teen mothers who dropped out of school due to early pregnancies have shared painful experiences of stigma and discrimination from their families and the wider community. The young mothers spoke during the 3rd edition of the check issuance ceremony for the Restored Hope program, an initiative that supports teen mothers to return to school and pursue their academic goals. They described facing rejection, blame, and emotional distress after becoming pregnant at a young age. One of the beneficiaries, Stella Mukami, said she dropped out of school in 2016 following an early pregnancy. She recalled being subjected to demeaning remarks from community members, the stigma extending to her mother, who was accused of failing to raise her properly. Mukami acknowledged that ugly pregnancy is a mistake, but emphasized the importance of psychological support and educational opportunities to help teen mothers rebuild their lives.
So mimi nilijua niko na ball, maisha haikuwa rahisi, especially kwa mama yangu mwenye amenizaa mimi mwenyewe, juu alikuwa discriminated sana, akatusiwa, akaambiwa sijui anjui kulea, mambo mengi, akachafuliwa jina. Nikamhurumia, nikasikia vibaya, ndio nikisikia hiyo opportunity niliamua.
Nilipopata ball, maisha ilikuwa ngumu, kwa wazazi kakuwa ngumu, nilichukiwa na kila mtu. Mamangu alichukiwa, aliambiwa hajalea vizuri, wasichana wengine wamesoma. Kwa community yetu, msichana asiposoma, huyo mzazi anadharauliwa sana. On this program ya Restored Hope imenisaidia. Leo nimekujia basari yangu, nenda form 4. Nilianzia nayo form 2, sasa naenda form 4.
Now, residents of Kalinga village in Markington Ward, Samburu Sub-County, Kwale County have raised alarm over an imminent eviction from what they say is their ancestral land, urging Governor Honorable Fatuma Achani to urgently intervene in a 5-decade-old dispute involving a 10,190-acre ranch. The contested land, formerly known as Duruma Group Ranch and bordering Tsavo East National Park, is alleged to have been irregularly acquired in the early 1970s by a powerful local chief who now deceased. Villagers claim the land was unlawfully converted into Dokata Ranch Company, effectively locking out the original community members. According to Changoti Lugwe, the only surviving original member of the ranch, the chief abused his authority in 1971 by removing legitimate members and replacing them with his relatives before orchestrating the eviction of the original occupants with the help of game rangers.
Tuna huzuni, tunalilia haki yetu. Tunakuomba Mheshimiwa Governor wa Kwale, hii shida tulionayo hapa, kuchukuliwa kwa kwanza, kuchukuliwa kwa pili, kuchukuliwa kwa tatu, tunakuomba Madam Fatuma Achani, yote ufanye. Shamba ya Dokata Ranch, mwananchi anakulilia, mwananchi anataka haki yake, mwananchi anataka mahali pake alipozaliwa.
Na hii serikali iko wapi? Unajua tunashangaa kwa sababu kama kuna waziri wa lands anakuja hapa na hakuna solution ambayo tumepata, na tumesikia kwamba huyu mzee Chiwaya anashirikiana na waziri wako wa ardhi Madam Saumu Mbeyu.
Sasa tunaomba William Ruto tusaidie, tunataka usada kutoka kwako. Kama wewe hata hutusaidia, saa hii sisi tumechoka na kunyang'anywa ni ardhi yetu. Sisi saa hii kama hii jambo hii hutilisuluhisha, damu kwa damu, nyama kwa nyama, tena leo sio kesho.
Now, getting to one of those features we had prepared for you tonight. Now, the rise of TikTok in Kenya has opened doors for many young people to showcase their talents, stories, and perspectives to a wide audience. Creators share music, dance, fashion, art, storytelling, comedy, and more often reaching viewers both in the country and globally. One such youth is Babush, a Kenyan disability TikToker known for dancing skills and disability advocacy. Our very own Auma Evans had a sit down with Babush and filed the following report.
At the heart of Roysambo, here we met Babush, a popular non-Kenyan TikToker famously known for his dancing skills and disability advocacy, showcasing his life, farm work, and positive energy, proving that disability is not inability. TikTok has quickly grown from a simple entertainment app into one of the most.
Mimi nikaona manze ni heri nifanye kitu amazing, nijitume. So hao tu umekuwa wakinimenta tu vibaya sana bro. So mimi nikaona ni better tu niendelee na this thing. Alafu mambo tu ikajipa. Nikaanza pia mimi kudevelop hiyo sense ya kushoot videos. Juu nilikuwa nasema kwani mimi nitashoot lini video, nitafanya nini kama huyu, unaona. So mimi bro, kitu imenisaidia sana ni kuwe na that courage ni media. Juu mimi nilikuwa naangalia kama mtu anaweza fanya kitu fulani, mbona mimi nikidu. Mbona sasa mimi nikaanza sasa kujaribu kufanya na ikajipa.
For today's youth, TikTok is more than just short videos. It is a space for creativity, learning, connection and opportunity.
Kimeni transform. Like mali niko sahi ni juu ya TikTok. Na this imekam through juu ya support ya watu manze. Like the love watu wananishow ndio inafanya niko hapa. Juu acha nikwambie, sahi nikitaka kupata maybe mtu akitaka maybe nifanye job fulani or maybe nikuwe brand ambassador wa kitu fulani, like inanisaidia juu watu wanaangalia umse akona following ngapi. Right now I'm almost 1 million followers bro. na this ime come through juu ya the love watu wananishow. Juu ingekuwa tu bro hawanipeni, ingekuwa mtu kuja mtu bro kufollow hivi follow. Hiyo kitu unaona ati follow. Kuja mtu akupige follow bro. It's not something that is easy. Lazima ukwe umeconvince mtu nyata ni follow mtu nikuwa na watch vitu zake. So una get. So mimi naweza sema ni kitu kingine mazemi I appreciate so much.
Through music and dance, Babush can showcase his talent. He tells me that this has helped him build confidence, discover his passion, and gain recognition beyond his local community.
Sema unajua before mimi nilikuwa na uoga bro. Like nilikuwa na uoga to be honest. Like unajua hii talent ni kitu nimezaliwa nayo, like kudance. Ni kitu God amenibless. So mimi nilikuwa naona nikidance in public watu watanichukulia different. Juu kwanza unajua lazima ukuwe na courage ndio dance. Juu kila mtu anakuangalia na kushangaa boy yako aje, amezaliwa aje, anadua aje vitu una get. So mimi nilikuwa na hiyo shyness, nilikuwa ninaogopa, hiyo courage sikuwa nayo. So mimi nimepata courage, nimepata love the moment nimeingia campus. Juu hiyo ndo time yenye nime venture like nimeangalia nime have that knowledge on social media. Juu nikiwa mdogo sijashika simu, nikiwa high school sijashika simu. So mimi nimeshika simu nikiwa kampo. So kushika kampo hivi nikashika simu, kufika kampo nikashika simu. Like unajua lazima uingie online, IG, TikTok nini. So mimi nikaanza kuangalia bro watu wenye wako kama mimi na kitu wanadu. Manze nikasema God, like mbona mimi nisifanye.
TikTok has opened doors to self-employment and digital careers that were previously unavailable for him.
Like the love my fans are showing me, and this manze nasema ni juu ya bidii yangu manze, bila ninajituma, that's why watu wananishow. Na this imesaidia napata job mob, napata brands. Sasa mimi ni brand ambassador vitu mwa kampuni mob, unaona, like through that I'm earning out of TikTok, you get. Na pia naweza ingia live na mafani wananitumia kitu like appreciation, you know. Alafu pia naweza kusurprise, you know, I do surprise pia. Like naweza kuja ni surprise bibi yako, ni surprise maybe your mom. Na si bure, you know, like this is true TikTok, like na kusurprise alafu nina post huko. So hii awareness mtu anaangalia wapi, anaangalia Babushka na surprise watu, nimeona amepost TikTok, acha ni mcall pia mimi ani surprise. So mimi mtu akini reach tu negotiate ana book na mimi na msurprise. So mimi TikTok imeni transform, like mali niko sahi ni juu ya TikTok, kusema tu ukweli.
For him, his message to persons living with disability is just simple.
Mtu mwenye ako able differently ako na advantage sana. Juu personally mimi niko na advantages more bro. Juu kitu ya kwanza, once uko physically challenged, like already wewe ni content. Juu mtu anakuona hivi anajiuliza maswali mob juu amekuona, una get, like already wewe ni content, image tu vile tu uko tu hivyo. Lazima mtu atakuongelelea like vile tu amekuona, sema boy sasa ako aje, anafanya aje, anapika aje, una get. So chukua hiyo kitu kama advantage. Ndio watu wanajiuliza unafanya nini. So vile wanajiuliza unafanya nini, wewe wa show, prove them that you can do this, you know.
Babush uses his TikTok influence to educate public about disability rights, accessibility issues, and daily experiences, helping society become more inclusive.
Kuna msemo mwenye anaweza fanya kitu fulani bro, but due to wazazi wake hata wamemficha ama hata wanamwambia nisikuone nje, unaona, like due to that haezi. Sasa kukikuwa na hiyo awareness, ile kuna leader mwenye anaongelelea hawa watu, anaambia wazazi acheni watoto wenu wakuwe nje, unaona, like hiyo ita help sana bro. Juu sasa hatuna hao watu bro, like leaders wenyewe wamepatiwa hiyo job, like kidogo wamejisahau. But mimi najua one day I'll be a leader in this country, and the most thing I'll do is to remember people with disability bro.
For Babush, a more inclusive society still remain a far-fetched dream. He admits that though the government is trying, they want more.
Like it's high time waangalie watu wenye wako na disability. Juu people are going through a lot bro. People are going through a lot. Imagine kuna msee mwenye saa hii amekaa tu place, anashindwa ataenda aje hata hapo tu, unaona. Na ni wengi. So government najua imeelect our leaders wenye wasomea disability, but our leaders like niseme wamejisahau tu kazi wanafaa kudu. Unaona? Juu mimi nazasema, mimi to be honest, like ingekuwa tunasema ningetegemea government, ingekuwa nimeumia bro. Juu no one will come and help you.
In words of Babush, though technology comes with its fair share of challenges, you can choose to pick the positives and turn it into income-generating activity.
Well, today is a new day. God is the greatest. Vibes here.
Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
Quite an inspiring report by Auma Evans. We do hope Babush's dream of becoming a leader in this country true. On the other end of this break, we have yet another report on dreams, this time the Singapore dream. So I hope to see you on the other side of this break.
Msimu mpya, uso mpya, nguvu mpya, bila shaka na ari mpya. Lakini dhamira ni ile ile. Kuboresha kilimo kwa maisha bora. Jiunge nami James Baraka na nahodha wako mpya wa kipindi cha Boresha Kilimo, tunapochunguza mbinu za kisasa za kilimo, ukipenda teknolojia ibuka katika kilimo, maoni ya wataalamu na hadithi za mafanikio kutoka kila pembe ya taifa. Kutoka kwa wakulima wadogo hadi biashara za kilimo zilizostawi, tunakuvika maarifa na suluhisho kamili, si tu za kuongeza mazao yako, bali pia kuimarisha maisha yako. Kila Jumamosi saa 6:30 na Jumanne saa 4 asubuhi, usipitwe na baraka za Boresha Kilimo, nami James Baraka, hapa KUTV.
Uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Yvonne Kemuma.
That's right, and welcome back on the sign language interpretation. I'm with Naomi Ombui. Naomi Ombui is on the sign language interpretation. Do engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Kemuma_Monari. Let's continue. Now, Kenya has moved from Vision 2030 to bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and now to the Singapore dream, from long-term planning to high-speed ambition. Our reporter Anyango Sylvia analyzes the models, bringing us the reality of the Singapore dream and our position as a country, even as we head to the 2027 general elections, where dreams and slogans are often merely electoral.
In June 2008, under the leadership of the late President Mwai Kibaki, Kenya unveiled an ambitious national blueprint, Vision 2030, a roadmap aimed at transforming the country into a middle-income, industrialized economy. It was a long-term, state-led vision anchored on strong institutions, both private and public, and centered on 3 pillars: economic pillar, focused on realizing 10% GDP growth annually; social pillar, seeking to improve quality of life; and political pillar, targeting a democratic system that is people-centered, accountable, and respects the rule of law.
And we have agreed, as Kenyans who are in Parliament, that the vision is a very good plan for this country. And if well followed and implemented, it will truly change this country into a very prosperous country.
And I believe that its success is central to the development and transformation of Kenya into a highly industrialized country within the 2 decades.
15 years later, that vision has not been discarded, but reshaped and reframed for a new political era.
There is no reason why we cannot catch up with Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea. There is no reason we can catch up with them if we just make the right decisions. And I'm going to go out of my way to make sure we make those decisions. I'm going to provide the leadership.
This is the Singapore dream, Kenya Kwanza's new economic North Star. Between 2018 and 2022, William Ruto's political identity revolved around the bottom-up economic transformation agenda focused on the hustler, the mamamboga, the boda rider, or collectively, the small trader excluded from elite economic systems.
Tumekuwa tukipanga uchumi, tukianzia kule juu, mahali kampuni kubwa, wale wanaojulikana, ati pengine itateremuka ifike huku chini. Mumengojea ifike chini miaka 50, haijafika chini. Nyinyi watu wa Nyantrago na hapa Nyaribari chache, munataka tuendelee kupanga na huko juu mungojee hapa chini, ama munasema tubadilishe tuanze na hapa chini safari hii? Tuanze na chini huko safari hii. Ndio tupange ajira ya vijana hapa chini. Ndio tupange biashara yenu hapa chini. Ndio tupange kilimo kwanza hapa chini. Yaani hapa bottom. Hapa chini. Alafu tuende up. Yaani bottom alafu up. Yaani bottom up. Hebu nione watu wa bottom up hapa, nione watu wa bottom up, bottom up, bottom up.
It was a populist message, powerful, emotional, and deeply personal.
Honorable Dr. Ruto William Samoei.
On September 13th, 2022, William Ruto was sworn in as Kenya's 5th president. Expectations were immediate. Relief was expected fast.
I,
William Samoei Ruto.
But within months, reality collided with rhetoric. By mid-2023, Kenyans were facing rising fuel prices, higher taxes, and shrinking disposable incomes. The Finance Act 2023 triggered protest and public anger.
The government tried to bring down the cost of hunger, but all that was reversed by high taxes, because Kenyans are highly taxed today. People have lost purchasing power. People have lost disposable incomes. So even if you reduce the cost of hunger and the cost of other basic commodities, it does not have an effect.
This government is doing many PR things. They need to leave these PR things. Many kipindi hapa, kipindi pale. They need to make sure that the cost of living of normal Kenyans, mwananchi wa kawaida, aweze kuweka kitu kwa mfuko. That is what we praying. We want that mama mboga who is shelling in Marikiti, at least akifanya kitu by the end of the day, akipiga tax na nini, she have something in her pocket.
The mama mboga narrative, once empowering, began to sound hulu, to some even insulting. In late 2023, the languages shifted. Hustlers were replaced by global.
Kenya imechelewa kwa mambo ya transformation. Tulianza na nchi ya Singapore. Leo wako first world, sisi bado tuko third world. Na tulianza pamoja. Hapa katikati tulichelewa. Mnanielewa?
The Singapore Dream supporters argue that Rome was not built in one day and that the Kenya Kwanza administration needs to be given time to deliver on its promise. A fair and practical argument it is. Before Singapore became a global symbol of success, it was poor, vulnerable, and uncertain. In 1965, it was forced out of Malaysia, a small island with no natural resources, high unemployment, and deep ethnic divisions. Many believed it will fail. Its transformation was led by one man, Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, who ruled not for popularity but for results. Singapore's model was simple but unforgiving. First, there was zero tolerance for corruption, as ministers were paid well to avoid temptation but punished harshly. Second, strong merit-based institutions where jobs and promotions were earned, not negotiated. Third, state-led capitalism, where the government owned key companies, ran them efficiently, and reinvested profits into national development. Fourth, foreign investment, but not on strict terms, and here investors brought capital, technology, and skills, not just profits. Housing was not charity. It was strategy. Education was not politics. It was survival. And discipline, both social, economic, and institutional, was enforced even when uncomfortable.
I am calculating not in terms of the next election. That's no trouble. 68, no trouble. I am calculating in terms of the next generation, in terms of the next 100 years, in terms of eternity. And believe you me, the next 1,000 years, we will be here.
Singapore was not built in 10 years. It took over 4 decades of painful decisions, consistent policy, and institutional honesty. 1965 to 1975 took survival and stabilization. 1975 to 1990 took industrial takeoff. 1990 to 2005 saw development of global competitiveness, as 2005 to present morphed into innovation and finance hub. For Kenya, President William Ruto began with the unpopular affordable housing projects, infrastructure deals, and reviving foreign confidence as early signs of progress.
Nami nataka taifa mzima isikie. The President of the Republic of Kenya is committed to transform Kenyan economy into a first world economy within our lifetime. Na mimi nasema hivyo nikinjua nakaa pale katika baraza la mawaziri na najua ile PD rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya anaweka kila siku.
Unlike Vision 2030, which relied heavily on public spending and debt, the Singapore dream is anchored on public-private partnerships, privatization, and asset monetization. In 2024, the Treasury publicly proposed selling stakes in state assets, including Safaricom and Kenya Pipeline Company, to raise hundreds of billions of shillings. The government proposed new financing vehicles, including a national infrastructure fund and a sovereign wealth-style structure to fast-track mega projects.
We are targeting about 600 billion shillings. Already, we have identified over 300 billion shillings from KPC and diversity of Safaricom alone. That will give us close to 350 or at minimum 300 maybe and 20 billion shillings. Then we will have to look for other sourcing of the rest of the amount. But we are not waiting. The moment we get these resources, we start the process. The process of crowding in private sector.
But in 2025, the High Court raised legal questions about how these funds were created, exposing cracks in governance and oversight. China remains Kenya's most strategic partner. In April 2025, President Ruto signed investment and cooperation agreements worth nearly $950 million in Beijing. Infrastructure, manufacturing, agriculture, and ICT dominated the deals as China backed projects including highways, rail extensions, and industrial parks. Kenya has also expanded partnerships with Egypt, Gulf investors, and regional blocs targeting logistics, energy, housing, and food security, but many deals remain framework agreements, not fully disclosed contracts. Supporters see opportunity while critics see dependency and unanswered questions about transparency. So what's different from Vision 2030? The Singapore dream has faster timelines, less state ownership, more private capital, heavier reliance on foreign investors, and more executive-driven decision-making. With this shift, critical questions remain. Who benefits most from privatization? Ordinary citizens or connected elites? Why are courts questioning flagship financing structures? How does a Singapore-style model protect informal workers, not just investors? Can rapid growth occur without fixing corruption, procurement, and accountability? And if Kenya is now chasing first world status, were the hustler narrative and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda even genuine or merely electoral? Anyango Sylvia, KUTV.
Now let's get sporty. We take it from AFCON, where our hosts Morocco cruised to victory over Zambia to secure top spot in Group A of the Africa Cup of Nations at Stade de Prince Moulay Abdallah in Rabat. Ayoub El Kabi put the Atlas Lion ahead in the 9th minute from a short corner routine before Real Madrid player Maka Brahim Diaz slotted home the second goal. El Kabi netted a brilliant bicycle kick 5 minutes into the second half to make a 3-0 win. In other fixtures line up for tonight, Benin will be down to action against Africa giants Senegal, as both teams a place in the round of 16 of the same time. Group D second place DRC Congo. It is a wrap from sports, and before that we had Anyango Sylvia take us deep into the Singapore dream and whether or not it is possible for this country. But questions still stand, and we hope all in all the country will progress in the coming years. Now, for now, allow me to say good night on behalf of the entire team led by my producer Anyango Sylvia, directed by Baraka James, and on the sound is Levi. On the sign language interpretation, I'm in the company of Naomi Ombui. My name is Yvonne Kemuma. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.